Thiruchitrambalam, Hara Hara Namah Parvati Badaye, Hara Hara Mahadeva. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம் எடுக்கும் மாக்கதையின் தமிழ் செய்யுளாய் நடக்கும் மேன்மை நமக்கருள் செய்திட தடக்கை ஐந்துடை தாழ் செவியினில் முடி கடக்களிற்றை கருத்துள் இருத்துவாம். உலகலாம் உணர்ந்தோதற்கரியவன் நிலவுலாவி நிர்மலிவேணியின் அலையில் சோதியினம் பலத்து ஆடுவான் மலர் சிலம்படி வாழ்த்தி வணங்குவாம். சைவத்தின் மேற்சமயம் வேறிலை அதில் சார் சிவமாம் தெய்வத்தின் மேற் தெய்வம் இல்லனும் நான்மறை செம்பொருள் வாய்மை வைத்த சீர் திருத்தேவாரமும் திருவாசகமும் உய்வை தரச் செய்த நால்வர் புற்றாள் எம்முயிர் துணையே. தில்லை வாழந்தனரை முதலாக சீர்படைத்த தொல்லையதாம் திருத்தொண்ட தொகைடியார் பதம் போற்றி உலையவர் புராணகதை உலகறியே விரித்து உரைத்த செல்வமலி குன்றத்தூர் சேக்கிழார் அடிபோற்றி. ஆதாரமாகிய மாணிக்க வாசகர் பாதாரவிந்தம் அணிவோம். பண்டு செய்த தீதான பாவங்கள் எல்லாம் தீர்ந்து ஞானோதயம் வந்து கூடிடுமே. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். Dear devotees, welcome back to the Periyapuranam Discourse series. By the grace of the Almighty Lord Shiva, as always, all of us have been blessed to think through the history of 63 Nayanmars at this auspicious time through ShaivamOrg. Let me bow my head to the lotus feet of the Almighty Lord Shiva, Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal, and Kunambatti 57th Pontiff Srila Sri Rajasaramanikasa Swamigal as well. So with their blessings, let's go ahead and get started with Periyapuranam Discourse. So last week, we were discussing about Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal rescued the Chola Emperor Arabaya Cholan, who was so immersed in the worldly literature. He managed to rescue the king and diverted his attention to the life history of 63 Nayanmars. Then the Chola Emperor gave him an official order to compose Periyapuranam because the king wanted Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal to compose this Puranam so that the whole world can be made aware of the great intense love and devotion made by the 63 Nayanmars. So now we also talked about the Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal came to Thiruchitrambalam and he was praying to the Lord Shiva, and then Lord Shiva, there was a brilliant and bright light appeared in the temple, and the loud voice heard from the sky. So Shiva gave him the first phrase of the Periyapuranam, Ulagalam, which means the whole world, to Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal. So the Thiruchitrambalam Swami was extremely pleased when he heard that from the Lord Shiva himself, because it came from the Lord Shiva. Because remember, Thiruvarur Vanminatha Swami also gave the first line of Tirthandathogai Thillaival Andanadam Adiyarkum Adiyen for Sri Nambiyaroorar. Similarly, Thillai Nadaraja Swami gave the first word of Periyapuranam to Thiruchitrambalam Swami. So, and then Swamigal went into ecstasy thinking of the Shiva's infinite mercy. And then Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal sat on the 1,000 pillars, the hall of 1,000 pillars, which we called Ayrangal Mandapam in Chidambaram. Now also during Ani Thirumanjanam and Margali Thiruvadara, the Abhishekam, Aradhana is performed for Lord Nataraja in that hall, the hall of 1,000 pillars. So Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal prayed to Lord Shiva. Then he started composing the greatness of Nayanmars. He took the first phrase given by Lord Shiva, Ulagalam, and then he continued. Then he also kept the Tirthandathogai composed by Sundaramurthy Swamigal, Tirthanda Tiruvandadi composed by Sri Nambiyandar Nambikal Swamigal as a guide, and it formed the guide and reference to complete the Periyapuranam. So Thiruchitrambalam Swamigal completed his work of Periyapuranam in 4,253 Tamil verses. So Periyapuranam had 4,250 Tamil verses, And every word of the Periyapuranam was dripping with pure devotion to Almighty Lord Shiva. So, on completion of the Holy Scripture, it was offered to the goddess Shivami Ambika Sameta, Srimad Anandana Swami, with great devotion. Then the message went to the king, David Chekla Swamigal, completed the work of Periyapuranam. Then king was so pleased to hear that. Then he left for Thiruchitrambalam with his aid and forces. Then King Anabaya Cholar came to Chidambaram. At the outskirts of Chidambaram, David Chekla Swamigal and 3,000 Andanas, everybody came and welcomed the king with Purna Kumbha respect. The king looked at David Chekla Swamigal. He himself looked like a saintly devotee of Shiva, right? So then all of them went to the temple together. They were praying in front of Lord Nataraja. A great thing happened at that time. Just then a voice sounded from the sky. Another Asariri, just like how David Chekla Swami heard Lord gave Ulakalam. Another sound came from the sky. None other than the Lord Shiva. All of you, listen to this great Purana, which starts with the verse given by me, and be blessed. Which means listen to this great Purana through Arunmoli Deva. And at the same time, the sound was also made by the anklets owned by Lord Nataraja, was heard inside the temple. So Shiva gave the sound of the anklets owned by him. Everybody heard that sound. That was the greatest thing. It's very auspicious, actually. The sound of Lord Nataraja's anklets is considered to be very, very auspicious. It was also quoted in Tiruvundiyar. திருச்சிலம்பின் ஓசை ஒளி வழியே சென்று நிறுத்தனை கும்பிடென்று உந்தீவர நேர்பட அங்கிருந்து உந்தீவர. In one of the 63 Nayanmars, the Chera Emperor, Sri Shaivam Nayanar, he used to hear the sound of anklets of Lord Shiva at the end of his Shiva Puja every day. So Shiva used to give him that sound just to let him know he accepted his puja. And then one day, Sri Sundarmurti Swamigal was singing Maditadu Madimikan Padigam in Chidambaram at the same time. King Chairman Perumal Nayanar was doing Shiva Puja. He was expecting to hear the sound. It didn't come up. There was a delay. And then King Chairman thought, oh, I made some mistake in my puja. That's why the Lord didn't give me the sound of his anklets. So I don't deserve to live anymore. Then he was about to go ahead and kill himself. Then the Lord gave a very big sound of his anklets. So just so you know, the sound of anklets is very, very auspicious. And King Sharavan Brahmanayanar heard that. And after him, Deva Chekla Swamigal, King Anabaya also got that sound from Lord Shiva. So they heard that sound of anklet owned by Lord Shiva inside the temple. They became very, very happy. Then the emperor Anabaya Chola called for a big meeting with all his ministers, and he said, "It's an order from the Almighty Lord Nataraja to organize this very broad lecture from Arunmoli Devar. So let's fix. We need to pick up a very auspicious day to start this lecture." Then he was consulting with astrologers and great Shaiva Matadhipatis and Rajagurus. And then they finally picked up a day. It was the Tiruvadirai Nakshatra in Chitrai month. Tiruvadirai Nakshatra, Chitrai month is very, very auspicious for us, dear Shaivites. You know why. We just heard that it was when Deva Chekla Swami started his Periyapuranam lecture in Chidambaram. There's another important thing to that. And the reason they picked up is because of that. The reason the king picked up this day, because of the one I'm going to tell you now. Chitrai Thiruvathirai is when the great saint Thirugnanasambandha Swamigal was born to Srimati Bhagavati Tayar and Shobhadra there. He was born on that day. It was the same day Saint Thirugnanasambandha Swamigal got that Sivanyana milk from goddess Parvati Devi, Periyapuranam, and the Almighty Lord Shiva Thoniyapur. So two things. Thirugnanasambandha Swami was born on the same day. He got the Jnanapal on the same day. David Chekla Swamigal also started Periyapuranam on the same day and completed the Periyapuranam on the same day. So Chitrai Thiruvathirai is very, very auspicious. We should not forget these three instances. Then the invitations have gone out to all directions. All emperor, Chera, Pandya kingdom, Pallava kingdom, and others everywhere, and other countries as well. And Thillai Chidambaram was flooded with Shiva devotees. It flooded. Lakhs of people came into Thillai. And tens and thousands of people came into Thillai, and it was flooded by everywhere you see only Shiva devotees. It was just like the capital of Devas, Amaravati. The city was decorated just like a capital of Amaravati. Everywhere you could see shining golden lamps, fragrant flowers, large colorful designs drawn on the ground, etc. It's the order of king to make sure the whole city is decorated like Amaravati. And then everybody came, all of them are gathered on the day of Chitrai Thiruvathirai, a six-legged gold table. Yeah? It's a golden table, a six-legged golden table we call Peetam, was covered with fresh flowers and a silk cloth, green silk cloth, Periyapuranam was kept on top of it. The Pranam was placed on the Peetam, and then David Chekla Swamigal started to expatiate the Periyapuranam on the day of Thiruvathirai in the month of Chitrai. It went on for 1 full year. Devotees, you think about it. To hear the Nayanmar history, their courage, their love, from David Chekla Swamigal, how much blessed they would have been to hear this from David Chekla Swamigal. The king, Shaiva Mathadipatis, Vedic scholars, Tirumurai scholars, all of them were there. They were all so immersed in the taste of the divine language that comes out of David Chekla Swami. So it went on for 1 full year, and then David Chekla Swami completed the Periyapuranam lecture. Then the Pranam was prized by all of them as fifth Veda, because Swami said 4 Vedas: Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva. Swami said 4 Vedas. And Periyapuranam is considered as 5th Veda. Then the Purana was placed on a golden plate covered by a green silk. King Anabayar Chola, he took David Chekla Swamigal and the Purana on his royal elephant. No one can get on that elephant except the king. But the king ensured that David Chekla Swamigal, along with Periyapuranam, sits on this royal elephant. And the best thing the king did was he took the Vensamaram. The Vensamaram, it's called Vensamaram in Tamil, but in English, it's a handheld special fan specifically used only for kings, not for anybody else, only for kings. And the king used the handheld Vensamaram, and he fanned to David Chekla Swamigal, considering it was his great fortune to do this service for David Chekla Swamigal, because David Chekla Swamigal has done such a great service to Shaivism by composing Periyapuranam. So the procession went across all the streets of Chidambaram, all 4 streets of Chidambaram. Everybody praised. And later the procession was led by orchestra of all species musical instruments. The Vedic scholars were singing Vedas. Tirumurai scholars, Oduamuthi was singing Tirumurai. It was such a great event. That is how Periyapuranam was inaugurated in Chidambaram. So one may be able to swim across a sea and still survive. One may be able to count the number of sand particles in a beach. One may be able to count the winking stars at the night. But one can never fathom the true greatness of this Purana, the intense love of Nayanmars. Then King Chola Emperor King Anabhayar also conferred a title to Devachekla Swamigal, Thondar Seer Paravar. Thondar Seer Paravar means the one who sings the glories of devotees. And he did that in Periyapuranam. And he also declared Periyapuranam as the 12th Tirumurai of Shaivism on that auspicious day in Chidambaram. So Periyapuranam became 12th Tirumurai with the order of Chola Emperor King Anabhaya Cholan. Then the function got over. Periyapuranam became 12th Tirumurai, and David Chekla Swamigal gave up the chief minister role. Then his brother Palaravaya took over the chief minister role from David Chekla Swamigal. And then David Chekla Swamigal spent his rest of his life doing many Shaiva welfare activities, thinking of the great service done by Nayanmars. And then he reached the lotus feet of Lord Shiva on this earth on the day of Vaikashi Nakshatra in the month of Pusam. So Vaigasi Pusam is the Guru Puja date for David Chekla Swamigal. So till now in Kundratur, David Chekla Swamigal Guru Puja is held for 11 days at the Nageswaran temple. So dear Saivits, and we are extremely grateful to David Chekla Swamigal for composing this Periyapuranam. It's a treasure for us. It's a treasure for us. And let's not forget the great service done by David Chekla Swamigal for our Shaivism. And we must learn the history of 63 Nayanmars through Periyapuranam. We must stick to the rules and regulations that Periyapuranam shows us, whether it is to do Shiva Puja, whether it is to do whether to construct a temple, how to serve Lord Shiva devotees. It's all very well documented and explained in Periyapuranam. Nowadays, in the current century, there's a lot of confusions around Vedas. There's some language issues. Tamil is better, Sanskrit is better. I would advise that do not get into any of those controversy and waste your life. Let's follow what is written in Periyapuranam. And Periyapuranam clearly explains the rules and regulations of Shaivism. So let's go ahead and praise the Lord Shiva, with the fame of Lord Shiva devotees. And with this, let's end the session today with the inauguration of Periyapuranam, and then from next class onwards, we will start thinking through the life history of 63 Nayanmars. Thiruchitrambalam. என்றும் இன்பம் பெருகும் இயல்பினால் ஒன்று காதலித்து உள்ளம் ஓங்கிட மன்றுளார் அடியார் அவர் வான்புகழ் நின்றதேங்கும் நிலவி உலகெல்லாம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். ஹர ஹர நம பார்வதி பதையே. ஹர ஹர மகாதேவா. சித்சபேசா சிவசிதம்பரம். திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.